And who will present that? Mr. Allen?
Yes, thank you, Chair Beamish. This here is a development variance application to relax the setback requirement from a rear parcel line from 5 meters to 2 meters on Elliott Road in close proximity to Garden Bay Lake. This particular area is zoned RU5, which is a low-density rural residential zone designed to protect density around the lake, our drinking water supply. However, Elliott Road is a bit of an anomaly. It's a subdivision which was created long before the RU5 zone existed. And so it does contain the 5-meter rear yard setback, which many of the 2+ hectare lots in the vicinity also have. And so the 5-meter rear yard setback is a little more rare within a smaller residential parcel. Typically, a residential parcel may have a 2-meter rear yard setback. And hence, in this particular case, the property owners are requesting a relaxation so they can utilize a 2-meter setback to continue constructing an auxiliary building, a residential garage. Based on feedback we received from neighbors, we recommend some conditions respecting landscaping and stormwater management. The application has been referred to the Sechelt Nation, the Egmont-Pender Harbor Advisory Planning Commission, as well as aforementioned neighbors. And a summary of comments is noted on page 348 of the agenda. And staff are prepared to recommend support of this request. Thank you.
Motion to receive the report. Mr. Lee, Mr. Director McMahon, Director Lee, sorry, and then Director McMahon. All in favor? Receipt of the report. Okay. Discussion? Director Lee?
Yes, the neighbors did come to the APC meeting. They weren't really in favor of the setback, but it seemed more of a neighbor issue than a physical issue. So, and the APC did recommend acceptance of this, and I see no reason that to not go along with that recommendation.
Okay. Director Hiltz?
Yes, I'll be supporting it. I have a question of staff. This is on page 2 of 6. The phrase goes, a building permit is not required for the forms and constructions requiring a permit has not yet been commenced. Looking at the pictures and from the comments from the neighbors, it looked like the construction went ahead and there's work being done and the building permit was issued after the fact. So I note in the Sechelt's building permit bylaw, it says any construction. So I'm just wondering if there's a line, like the neighbors suggested that this is someone went ahead, broke the rules, and is now asking for forgiveness. So I'm just wondering about the building permit process and forms. Should, in general, nothing be done until, except for site clearing, before work is done, construction?
Mr. Allen?
Thank you, Chair Beamish. Well, it is the usual process that one would apply for a building permit prior to constructing forms, and then at that time we can confirm setback, etc. In this particular case, forms were prepared. However, they cannot be filled with concrete until such time that a building permit is issued. So they've applied for a building permit. The building permit has not been issued because it is contingent upon confirmation of siting. So our particular bylaw would allow for land clearing and form placement prior to building permit, but it would be normal process to receive permit first. Thank you.
Okay, we have resolutions recommendation before us. Does someone like to move the recommendations? Director Lee, Director Ties, and that's the full 5 points also under the recommendation. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? See none, the motion passes. Thank you. Okay, now we're on to Annex H on the agenda. That's item 9, and that's for the Recreation Sites and Trails Agreement renewal for Klein Lake, Secret Cove, Big Tree, and Sprockets. Mr. Hall?
Thank you, Chair Beamish. SCRD, through a partnership agreement that was originally executed in 2003, manages 4 provincial recreation sites at Klein Lake, Secret Cove Falls, Big Tree, and Sprockets. That agreement is now up for renewal, and in preparation for bringing forward recommendations about renewal for the board's consideration, staff have analyzed the situation at each of the 4 sites in terms of opportunities and considering the context of, firstly, a growing demand on park services and park service resources at SCRD parks system, as that system has grown and assets have aged, and secondly, reduced support from the province to assist in the operation of the sites. Community contacts and stakeholders and provincial staff are engaged as part of this analysis as well. Staff recommend that SCRD decline the agreement for Klein Lake and Secret Cove Falls Trail on the basis that other community groups are prepared to partner with the province. These groups would be held to the same standards as SCRD, resulting in similar conditions on the ground for users. Staff further recommend that the partnership agreement for Big Tree be renewed, noting that it could form a link in the Suncoaster Trail, which is currently in the planning stage. And finally, staff recommend that an extension be requested to consider renewal of the agreement for Sprockets to allow time to plan for sustainable management. Sprockets is a popular biking and increasingly hiking and running area that has long benefited the community and been supported by the community through a mix of both organized and informal trail stewardship. Over the course of the partnership agreement, the use, development, and the community partnerships associated with the site have changed, and staff suggests that a renewed plan and a collaborative approach is needed going forward. If this recommendation is supported, staff would engage with the province and with trail groups and report back with further recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Motion to receive the report. Director Ties, Director McMahon. Discussion. Director McMahon.
I think this is a good report, and I definitely support this. The Sprockets situation, I did alert the Sunshine Coast Trails Society. Is there a member of staff regularly attending the Trails Society meetings?
Mr. Hall?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, and for the committee's information, it's typically me.
Okay.
Okay, we have the recommendations in front of us then. Somebody care to move the recommendations? Director Ties, Director McMahon. All in favor? That's approved. Thank you. We get to turn the page finally. Hey, home run.
This is where I recuse myself.
Okay. And you recuse yourself for a conflict?
Yeah, I'm going to recuse myself on this topic for a due to a conflict of interest. So.
Thank you. So item 10 is the report from the General Manager of Planning and Community Development regarding the maintenance and minor repairs to SCRD ports, RFP 18354 award report. Mr. Hall?
Thank you, Chair Beamish. SCRD released a competitive call to bids for maintenance and minor repairs of SCRD's 9 port facilities in late 2018. One compliant bid was received, and staff recommend award to Summerhill Fine Homes for a 3-year term with an option to renew for a further 2 years. The value of the contract is higher than the previous agreement. As well as inflationary factors to be considered, staff note that the scope of work as it relates to coordination and documentation has increased to support improved record keeping and asset management. An annual Port's service base budget increase of $30,000 is recommended to account for the contract value difference. This difference would be reflected in a financial plan update prior to round 1 budget as noted in the recommendations. And staff request that report recommendations, if approved, be forwarded to today's regular board meeting to facilitate expeditious initiation of work and response to maintenance needs following recent winter weather. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Note that the voting on this is for areas B, D, E, and F, and area D has left the room. So B, E, and F will be voting on this resolution. And could a motion to receive the report? Director Pratt, Director McMahon, and discussion? Sorry? Oh, sorry, all those in favor? Yes, we have 3. Thank you. And discussion? Director Hiltz?
Just interested in the bidding process. The number of bids that was received, is this a difficult contract to get people to do work on?
Mr. Hall?
Thank you for the question, Chair. This is a specialized kind of work that does require a depth of technical knowledge and specialized equipment. There is a relatively small market, as with any of our procurement processes. Staff endeavor to promote the opportunity as widely as possible and make all those who might be active in the market aware of the opportunity. And in this case, only the one bid was received. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Recommendations before you then, enter into an agreement and contract service be increased by $30,000, financial plan be updated in round 1, and the recommendation be forwarded to the regular meeting January 10th. Somebody care to move that? Director Pratt, Director McMahon, all in favor? That's approved. Thank you. Somebody let Director Ties know that you can come back. Okay. Well, we'll move on then to item 11 on the agenda, and that's the correspondence, communications from Kate Louise Stamford, Gambier Island trustee, and Doug Race, District of Squamish Ocean Watch Task Force, dated December 3, 2018. Somebody move receipt, please, of the correspondence. Director Seegers, Director Hiltz. There's a request in here that we send a member of the board and a member of planning staff. What's the wishes? What's the practice, maybe, to the CIO first?
Thank you, Chair Beamish. So in the past, actually it was not too long ago that this organization was formed, and it does have strong ties to the Howe Sound Community Forum as well. There are regular reports, and some of the members are often similar in that role. So the planning staff have not, it was not required that the planning staff actually attend, and that request has never been contemplated nor asked here at the Regional District. However, from time to time, where there was a special presentation, there were staff that did attend along, and in the past I did as well. So it just varies based on the topic and the type of thing that they were discussing and the relevance back to the Regional District. However, with that, there was a board appointment, and in the past it was Director Wynne who represented Area F on this organization. And he provided regular updates through the board updates on this initiative to everyone here at the organization. So that's really how it functioned in the past.
Thank you, CIO. And just for information for the town of Gibson's, Director D'Andrade, or Councillor D'Andrade, is our liaison to this, as well as to the Howe Sound Forum, so that we don't have planning staff attached to it either. So, what's your wish? Director Hiltz?
Yes, I would like to propose a resolution. It's a valuable tool, yep, and it shows great potential for the Howe Sound area. And Director Wynne in the past has supported it, and I would like to continue to support that. So I'd like to propose a resolution.
Yes, go ahead.
The Planning and Community Development Committee recommend that Director Hiltz be appointed to the Ocean Watch Task Force as the SCRD board.
Carry on.
I'll just back up. Ocean Watch Task Force as the SCRD board liaison for 2019 to 2022. 2019 to 2002. And further, that the Ocean Watch Task Force be invited to apply for funding through the 2019 Rural Areas Grant and Aid process, which is a further ask in the letter, in the correspondence.
That is a motion. Is a motion seconded? Director McMahon, CIO, you had your hand up.
Thank you. I just wanted to follow up on that second part of the recommendation. That was where there was a small amount of funding that was supported, and it was done through grant and aid, as we don't have a particular service. So it was the most appropriate funding source.
Okay, so the motion's in order then? Okay, so all in favor of the motion, or any discussion? All in favor? We're all in favor. Thank you. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Director Hiltz. And final item, Annex K, Alan Johnsrud, Regional Executive Director, South Coast Natural Resources Region, Ministry of Forest, letter dated December 21, 2018. Motion to receive? Director McMahon, Director Pratt. All in favor? Discussion?
Just to provide an update, I've, as per the directions on the letter to, just hang on one second, I'm just going to get to that spot of it. The directions on the letter were to approach or to set up a meeting. I've emailed, phoned, have not received an answer back, so I'm going to continue to phone and email the contacts given, and hopefully we can have a meeting soon. Otherwise, there's nothing to report.
Any further discussion? Director McMahon?
Yes, this did come up last night at the Elphinstone Community Association meeting. The residents are concerned about it. They noted, by the way, I thought of requesting an English translation of this letter, but I don't know that we can do that. They noted that the letter did not refer to community consultation, only to other consultations, which they were kind of annoyed with. They also noted, as we noted, that the Squamish Nation were not mentioned here. And of course, Block 1313 is in Squamish territory. And they urged that I bring back to the board that they would like to see a freeze on logging of these blocks in question while all of this consultation and planning process goes on, because they are very concerned that this is sort of a delaying tactic. In the meantime, everything will get logged. I just wanted to add that this is one of the many things that we do need to discuss with the Squamish Nation, and I'm not sure how we can move that forward, but we do need to.
Director Pratt?
It may be best to go to our CAO, because I know she may have a couple of things to say on this as well.
CAO.
Thank you, Chair Beamish and Chair Pratt there. So as you can note, this came in right before the holidays, and so this is the way that we receive these types of formal communications from the ministries. And so staff did note that our chair has not been successful, so we'll put some more effort into that for sure. But staff's understanding is that there is a further correspondence coming with respect to the recommendations that the board passed right before the Christmas break. I am reluctant to say when, because I was not given any time frames, but my understanding is that we should be receiving something further within the coming weeks. And at this point in time, there has been no further action taken with respect to those two cut blocks at this point. So, I know this is not the news that folks wanted, but this is what we have in terms of an update.
Yeah, thank you, CAO. And I also noted the question about the Squamish Nation. I was surprised that it weren't referenced there. So, Director Lee?
I don't know if I can get clarification or not, but the one question I think was just answered. It said that we were going to get some more communications from the minister. But the final paragraph seems to say the minister's not going to meet with us and it's been delegated to somebody else, even though it doesn't say it in English. But is that a fair assumption? The answer is yes? Okay. What a funny way to say I'm not meeting with you.
Okay, is there anything else we need to do with this? We have moved to receive it. Okay. Nothing else then. There's no new business. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Director Seegers, Director Pratt, and questions, inquiries. Sophie, you've been very patient.
I'm currently working with Summerhill Fine Homes, the applicant, and may have a fiduciary conflict of interest regarding that.
And you've been very patient, sir. Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, okay. Well, I would invite you to stay, but I know that's out of policy, so things. Okay, well, thank you, everybody, and we are adjourned. Thank you.